Why, hello. I am Tierra Reed, the owner of Inspire, Engage, and Educate. And I'm super excited tonight to not only welcome you to the Emancipated Educator talk show and podcast, but to also let you know that I'm here with a special guest. And before I even introduce him, I want you to understand how important this day is for me. Whether you're watching this live, or whether you see us on the actual replay. Listen, this man here has been so phenomenal in my life. When I think about actually matriculating at the Alabama State University, my friends and I would not have made it through without Coach Beene. And I want you all to welcome him tonight. Yes. So, Coach Beene is not only an amazing track coach of champions, he has a phenomenal story that I would love for many of you to hear because, as you know, as the educated Oprah, the educational Oprah, I want to make sure I'm bringing people who are going to not only add to your journey, but I want their story to inspire you. So, welcome, 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 Coach Beene. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, we're going to jump right in. And also, guys, I want you to know that if you jump on and watch us live, I really need for you to not only comment, but I want you to add your question and your comments in the comments. So tonight, you should be watching us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, as well as YouTube. So if you catch the replay or you join us live, we would love to hear from you. So, when it comes down to you, Coach Me, you know, you have a special place in my heart, but I really would love for you to talk about your journey and basically what you have going on right now because you were just not only crowned another amazing championship, but you have broken so many records. But we know that there's always a story behind the glory. So please share.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you again for having me. I am so thankful and grateful that you chose little old me to be on your show tonight. So I want your viewers to kind of just sit back, relax, have a good time. Let's just talk openly and candidly, about life. Because you are my dear friend, and because you're my dear friend, I want you to be successful in everything that you do. So thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Thank you to everybody who's going to listen later. One of my themes and goal in life that I always tell my students and myself, have fun. Have fun. And that is free. Fun is free. So a little bit about myself. Um, I'm from a small town called Shannon, Mississippi, right outside of Tupelo, Mississippi. So you guys already know I'm a country boy at heart. If you haven't figured it out, you will by the end of this show. I have a country grammar and kind of a tone to myself. I embrace that. So I'm not one of those people where if I move away from home, my accent is going to change. Any of that. I am who I am. I'm Lois Page son out of Shannon, Mississippi. I'm country as country can get, but I embrace that, and that's who I am. That's a part of my background. Very small town. People really didn't give guys and young men like myself that looked like me, that was my skin tone, a fair shot at what we could possibly be in life. One of the things that really motivated me and pushed me to where I am today was when I wanted to go to a HBCU out of high school, and I was told by my guidance counselor, if you go to a HBCU, nobody will respect you, nor would you get a good job. Well, I didn't listen to that at first. I chose another route, but I ultimately ended up at a HBCU, running track at a HBCU, pledging at a HBCU, getting a degree in elementary education from a HBCU, meeting my wife that graduated from a HBCU. So, HBCU blood just run through and through. But to be where I am, come from humble beginnings, very, very, very humble beginning. If we had lemons, we made lemonade, we made lemon pie, we made lemon candy. So we took what we had and stretched it way beyond our imagination. And for me, as a young black man out of a little place called Shannon, Mississippi, I wanted to be a game changer. I wanted to make a difference, because I wanted to, because there was people who thought I couldn't do it. And my brother that passed away some years ago, when he invested time in me right before he passed away my senior year in high school, because I was headed down the wrong path at one point. And he took time and invested in my life. And he was a great big brother at that time and got me on the straight and narrow. So that's a little bit of snippet how and where I got to where I am, but it's straight out of humble beginnings.
Wow. So as I hear you speak, and hey, Ruth, Ruth said, hey, coach. And so another amazing Alabama State alumni. I just want you to understand as you begin to speak, I thought about how you said someone invested in you, your brother, right?
Hmm.
And you know how when we speak privately, I always tell you about your warm talks and your encouragement. I mean, no matter whether it was stern, quick, or whether it was, gentle, you
Hmm.
always made time to pour into not only myself, but my friends that were around me. And you did give us advice. You gave us advice about the guys who were around us. You told us to look out for different things. And I will never forget meeting you. And because you were so young, see, guys, you
Yeah.
have to understand. Now, Coach Beene, Coach, listen, we were freshmen, and Coach Beene was, how old were you, Coach, at that point?
Depending on what year it was when I
That
first
was
started,
99, 2000.
yeah, I was fresh out of college.
Wow.
I was fresh out. I graduated from college in '97, so I was still trying to find my way. I was trying to rub two nickels together to get 8 cents.
Wow. So I'm just, and I tell you this all the time, right? So, coach, I mean, listen, he looked like he was our age. However, we knew that something was different about him because he spoke to us in such a loving manner, like he was like a big brother, a father figure. He never once made a pass at us, encouraged us to, to actually, a lot of times people flirt with young women. He did none of that. He was the I guess he was an exemplary example of how queens should be treated. And I thank you. And we always talk about you because you was hard on us sometimes. But look how all of us turned out. I mean, and just thinking about all of the track students and just students, period. You didn't have to take that time. You at that point were doing your graduate studies and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You listen, you did not have the time have to take the time out to talk to students. We were not on a track. We weren't on a track team. We wasn't even going to run. But Coach Beene took time out with us. So tell us a little bit about the accolades and the most recent accolades that you received with your dynamic coaching ability. And I always say you inspire others. That's just what you do.
Well, thank you for asking about that. This year was a magical year. People often ask me, like, man, like, does it ever get old? Success, winning, being great never gets old. We just coming off this week. We just got back Sunday from the NCAA National Championship, where Alabama State men track team took on a national presence on national TV at the national championship, where Division I best of the best all had to line up and compete for a national crown. And Alabama State University men track team lined up for the 4x1 to do that on ESPN. we were not only just representing the ASU brand, we was representing each individual household of those young men, representing my household because my baby girl was watching. That's helping develop her legacy that she can talk about. These young men help developing their legacy, my assistant coach's legacy, and Alabama State legacy. And as the commentator said so brightly when he announced us, he said Alabama State is putting on for all the HBCUs. And because we were the only HBCU represented in that race, we were one of the only HBCUs that was there represented in multiple events. So that was huge for us. And for us to finish fifth in the nation out there with the big boys, I'm talking about with your Georgias, with your Tennessees, with your national champion, which is the University of Florida. We were in the mix with them. We were in that warm-up area. We was in that grind right along with them, and we represented Alabama State at the highest level. And I was super excited about that. We won the indoor championship. Our men won the outdoor championship, and our women also won the indoor championship as well. We took a full team down to NCAA regionals in Jacksonville, Florida. So it was a good year. It was a very good year. But success does not define, it's not defined by winning. Success is how many people lives did I change during the course of the year? How many young people that I put in a position to be better in life, not only at Alabama State, but once they graduated from Alabama State? How many young ladies and young men graduated with a degree from Alabama State University? How many young people gave their life to Christ this year as a part of being a part of our track team? To me, that is what defines success. Yes, the wins are good. The national championships are good, but did I change their life? Wins and losses will go and come, but did I change your life? Did someone on my staff change your life? And that to me is one of the biggest flex because we graduated some people. We have a 3-point plus GPA for both men and women team. We will have some academic All-Americans that'll come out of this, right? We had a situation this semester where we had our team church day and student athletes got saved and turned their life over to God. So that's my flex for the semester. And if you're not a game changer, why sign up to get in?
Wow. Did you not hear how he ended that statement? If you are not a game changer, why sign up to get in? Wow. And just to kind of recant, just review a lot of the things you just said, because you literally shared some gems. You talked about spirituality
Mm-hmm.
and its place in what you guys were able to accomplish, because I know God has always been number one in your life and
Mm-hmm.
continues to be that. So, understanding the role that not only spirituality plays, but that dedication. I've seen you with my own eyes be very dedicated to an idea, to a vision, and thinking about what you were able to do this year. Let's talk about being emancipated. And when I say that, I'm talking about being free to believe, to think, to dream big, and to have that vision that sometimes is truly unbelievable to others. Tell me about that. When I met you back in late 90s, early 2000, when you were serving not as the head coach but as an assistant coach or as
Mm-hmm.
as a grad student,
Mm-hmm.
you still saw what happened this year, even back then. So tell me about that. How were you able to hang on to those visions that you had for the team in spite of obstacles? So tell us about that, because there's someone out here that's looking for that response.
So one of our biggest things that we talked about this year about a vision, and a vision, the word vision has always been a part of everything that we've tried to do and I've tried to do. But I will give you this. Visions become dreams and dreams become reality. So when I set up my eyes and my thoughts or my prayers or my hands on something and I have this vision of it, the vision becomes so strong till it start to appear in my dreams. And then those dreams will eventually become my reality. So if you ever thought about some of the things that you see and that you want, you be so excited about it when you sleep at night or in your downtime, your meditation time, you can just see it happening. And so what'll start happening is you'll start writing it on things, you start speaking of it, you speak it into existence. And then one of the things that I'll notice, and I'll grab it right quick. I have Lord knows how many of these notebooks where I just write stuff down, or I may write it on my board in the office because that vision plays over in my mind and I start dreaming about it. I'll wake up or I jot it down, and then before you know it, it's a reality. And I may in the process of cleaning up, I'll see, man, I wrote that down 2 years ago, or I was thinking that when I didn't even have $2, and now it's multiplied. So those are the things that I think about in the process of creating those visions, because there's things that happen in my mind that I know that can be accomplished. And a part of that emancipation is you have to be comfortable knowing that what you believe in, you may be the only one in the room that believe in it. You may be the only one that may have to travel that road, because sometimes in the process of knowing who you are, you will have to walk alone. Your thoughts will be just yours and yours only. And that's okay. That's okay. The way that you relate to spirituality, the way that you relate to relationships, the way that you relate to people does not always have to look like what everybody else is doing, because your path, my path, may be totally different, because what is designed and created for me is not designed and created for you. And that allows me to be a free thinker. That allows me to be who I am. But please know and believe it's not always comfortable. Sometimes you'll question yourself. Sometimes you'll doubt yourself. But that's when you have to remind yourself, this is the walk that you've chosen. This is the talk that you've chosen. This is the life that you've chosen. And if everybody could do what you do, they would be in the same place that you are. And it's just not going to be like that.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Look, I'm like a sponge right now just hearing you, because everything you're saying is absolutely true. And a lot of times it's discouraging when you are the only one that sees what you see. So, thinking back, and we spoke about this earlier, people see you now, right? They see you the head coach, you have all these accolades, and people love the glory. But when I think about, you share your story with me, how when we were all in a calf, and you know, I'm sure when you decided to not go at maybe the route that your friends were going and decided to go to a HBCU that didn't have a massively, winning team, all these different things, but you saw different. So tell me about that, because that grind was there. Did
Oh
you
man,
I mean, like, tell me about that. That sacrifice was something else.
man, listen. Hey, listen, people. Your boy was broke when I first got into this bit. I was. If struggling was a picture, there it is. Man, listen here. I gave up a lot. Um, like I said, I majored in elementary education, and when I did my internship, after a few weeks of interning in elementary school, I said, "This is not it. This is not it." So my college coach put me into contact with the head coach. God bless his soul, Coach Horace Crump, which is one of my biggest mentors and supporters. When I got to Alabama State, they gave me a chance. He brought me on as a GA. I remember working hours on top of hours, and when I got my check, it was $989 for the month, and I was trying to survive off of that, pay rent, keep gas in the car, getting food. And all the times y'all was seeing me in the calf, I was eating in there because I didn't have food at home. So I would eat with the students. I was sneaking in and get my grub on. Listen, here's a true story, right? Here's a true story, right? Your boy was struggling so bad when I first got into the coaching game. I would go to not restaurants, but hotels on the weekends, and go in there like I stayed there so I could eat breakfast. It's yeah. I don't even know if you remember that the hotel that was right there off of Carmichael, right by the way. I think it was like a
Quality in.
Marriott.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
quality in?
yeah. I would go in there and eat breakfast because it was right by my apartments, and they had got so used to me coming in there on Saturday morning, they wouldn't even say anything. But those were some of the sacrifices I made to just to be where I am today. I knew I didn't have a lot of money, but I would humble myself. People don't even know outside of coaching. When I was in grad school, I not only was coaching, but I had other jobs. One of the fun facts about me when I was just getting in the game, I delivered all of the seafood to all of the Montgomery's restaurants back then. There was a guy who had a seafood business, so he would drive up from New Orleans and bring the truck to Montgomery, and he would go to a hotel and go to sleep, and I would drive the truck and drop off, make the seafood drop at all the restaurants. I did not have a truck, a CDL to be driving a truck, but hey, I'm a country boy. We learn to drive everything. So I deliver seafood in Montgomery. I worked at Just for Feet on the weekends. I worked at New York Bagel. I mean, everything, whatever it was I had to do to make an extra dollar for myself till I got myself up off the ground as a coach. It didn't matter what it was. I catered food. I would do people cookouts. I loved the barbecue back then. So if somebody was having a cookout, I would probably cook food for people, and it'd be so much food, but I only make $100. But that was $100 I didn't have. So I did what I had to do until my coaching game got up and running. So those are some of the humble beginnings. The track program had never won a SWAC championship, and I promised my head coach when he gave me an opportunity that we would at least win one. And in 2000, we won our very first one in the year 2000, and now we at 58 SWAC championships currently.
I don't think you guys heard that. Before he came, they had never won, and now they're at 58. So let me tell you something. There is method. There is so, I mean, you got the secret sauce. You really do. And to be honest, he dripped a little bit on us. He told us it's the tenacity, it's the work ethic, it's humbling yourself and making sure that you keep your vision ahead of you. And I love the way you articulated visions turn into dreams and dreams turn into reality. But as you showed multiple times, a vision and a dream is nothing without the action, and you got into action. And
Mhm.
that was the deal. No matter what and I'm sure being so that you're from Mississippi and your family know that you're college educated, I'm sure they asked you, well, why are you doing that as opposed to going and, making whatever you could have been making, being a teacher at that point.
Mhm.
However, your vision was stronger than what others saw. So before we end this, because I don't want to take too much of your time, and I just want to thank you for spending time with me, knowing that Montgomery right now, where you are, it's not the best weather, but you still took the time out to share your story with me and my gold friends and anyone who passed by this YouTube or the LinkedIn and even the Twitter. So, if there's a last thought that you could leave everyone with, what would it be?
Oh, you hit me with a question. That's very. If I could leave with a thought, laugh as often as you can. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. We got one time around this thing called the sun. Make it the best. Tell people that you love them. Forgive. Forgive. Forgive yourself and forgive others. If there's anything else that I could share, is take time for yourself, love on yourself. The things that you want and require for others, give it to yourself. So that way The things that you get from them is a compliment and not a requirement. And that would be my thought.
Okay, so now I'm gonna need to see you some. I'm listen when I'm gonna have to cite you. Listen, you said it. Look, it's not a requirement; it's a compliment. I love that. I love that. Well, I just want to thank you again. I want to let you guys know that I'm not great by mistake, neither are you. If you want to actually follow Coach Beene's journey, there is so much information all around. You can actually Google him and see the different write-ups that they've done about his story. And I will continue to let everyone know that runs track that they should definitely look at Alabama State first. You know how I am. I am a little biased, but it's not only about going somewhere to run, but going somewhere where people will cultivate your inner purpose. Because it's impossible to be around people like you with the level of inspiration that you exude and not feel compelled to do your very best. So thank you for instilling that in me and so many others. So
So
we
let me say this to you before we get off. I am so proud of you and everything that you've done. You can't even begin to believe how much you've inspired me through your journey, your post, your music, and you've shared part of your life story through social media, and I've seen it and I've followed. You are a bright light in a room. Always remember that, and that's who you are. But one thing I know about bright lights, every now and then that bright light need to be recharged and to stay bright. Always know that I'm here for you as a friend, as a professional, as a Christian brother. I got you and I appreciate you and I love you to the moon and back.
oh my goodness, you're not about to have me crying. Listen, that means everything to me because like a lot of our queens, we grow up a lot of times not having those father figures or those brother figures, and you are one of those people that has always stood out to me. I know if I ever ask you for something, you're going to give me the absolute truth, and if it's within your bandwidth, you're going to make it happen. So I appreciate that for you, and I pray that you see me as that for you as well.
Likewise.
Yeah, so I want you to follow me on Instagram or on LinkedIn at Tierra Inspires Me because that is truly my quest. As you all know, that I am the educational Oprah, and I don't take that lightly. I got the exclusive. Look, I know CNN they may want it or ESPN, but I got it. So thank you guys so much for watching and send it to someone who needs to be inspired because Coach he literally a few of the philosophers that we know, Migos says he walks it like he talks it. I'm gonna leave you with that. So thank you guys so much for watching and stay tuned for next Wednesday. Bye.